Durante with a free header. And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessart Barisha. It's Connor Payne on the left. Alessandro Diamante, the ball on a string. And Diamante! And the Western service crew are celebrating.
And welcome back. What a mental freaking week of football. A 76-minute goal secured the win for the Roar over Welly. Despite having some nice flair, Western New Wanderers were no match for the Bulls. Adelaide trumped the Jets, and what could be a preview to the grand final, the top of the table clash between Western United and City was a ripper. This week, it's the two of the best people in the pod, in my opinion. It's all Wallace and it's Lebby. How you going, big fella?
Yeah, doing well. Big weekend of football all around the world. So I think we've got a bit to talk about today.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Now, I thought it might be a bit of a fun one to have a little bit of a look at the stadium sheet that was released by the council, the white paper for that, I think it's called.
Yep.
And just have a little bit of a discussion about that. Have you looked at it yet?
I've had a look. I haven't read through the whole document, but I've had a look at the designs and everything, and it looks quite promising.
Now, just bear with me a bit. I've highlighted a few cool sections which I found interesting. As you can see, I had a really quick look because it's a huge summary. Now, here's the first part here. Now, this is the subject site and the precincts. So as you can see here, the training precinct, the residential precinct, which is going to be such a moneymaker for everyone involved, the stadium precinct, and the commercial precinct down the bottom here. Pretty solid kind of prospect here, don't you think?
Look, the fact people do have to remember as well, there's not just a stadium we're building. We're kind of building a whole kind of suburb out there. So everything kind of connected to the stadium in this sort of way is going to be not just revenue making and not going to be positive for Western United, but for the western suburbs of Melbourne and for Wyndham in general. So the fact that the training pitches and the outside of stadium things, not the actual stadium, are going to be used for the community type things as well. When it comes to football, they're going to have an indoor centre, which I'm not sure is going to turn into a lower league competition, like a Sunday league indoor competition, but they're looking at getting a futsal team. They're kind of really building up not just a stadium here, they're building up a whole, look, it's an identity of the club, and it's going to be an identity and a focal point just of our area as well, not just the club. So very promising times for Western United and very promising times for Wyndham in general.
It seems like a really robust partnership between the two. Obviously, the land was gifted to Western United to develop and create these kind of things. But in reality, as you can see from the planning history, they only got approval for this part of the stadium project in February 2021. So it's obviously taken a lot of time. And this is a 259-page document outlining the expected use, the height of the buildings, all sorts of like, I was just trying to find the right wording for it, but just such a dynamic amount of information.
Logistical issues that they do have to work through beforehand, essentially. Otherwise, if they don't plan that sort of thing, it could go to a shambles, not just for stadium, but for residential purposes as well.
Exactly. It's such a like an intense document. I've only thumbed through because it just seems like a lot of effort. But this is the kind of the things they're eyeing out for the training facility. And I think this looks amazing. Like,
looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing seeing Wyndham City on already is on our playing jerseys playing around Australia and possibly in the Asian Champions League soon enough, if you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. But the projected tourism for this, I think, was millions of people over the next 20 years, which is just amazing to see wherever you go from the farm town, which you and I both grew up in, to being a real hustle and bustle city. It's drastically changed in my time anyway. But yes, there's key information in this document about when it's going to be used, what time frames. Yeah, it's very, for those people who love details like Kelsey, he's going to be all over this. He's probably reading it like before bed. He loves this kind of stuff. That's not really my jam.
He probably saw it before we all did as well.
Yeah, but this is the concept master plan, which is attached because that is still awaiting approval. Just to repeat that because everyone is all up in arms. But it's only the training facility, but I think that'll be great once that's built, because they'll be really able to connect with the community here, start having open trainings, training days. We're going to really need somewhere to put our trophies at the end of this season. You know what I mean? Which I
think you're
think
right on that one.
Yeah. So here's some like some Google Maps pics and stuff. But what I really want to talk about the stadium. Have you seen the stadium pictures yet, Jay? I mean, Leb.
Oh, wrong person there. Yeah, no, I have actually, and they look phenomenal. Like a bit different to our original concept plans, but I really like the idea of having one open end from an active support kind of view as well. It kind of gives us one end for active support, and then the away fans kind of have to be in a corner as well, which adds to our the intimidation we want to bring on the pitch, and it gives lots of benefits. With the big screen that you see there. I think there's even benefits for other sorts of things other than football days, pre-game, that sort of thing. You could even have a sort of like Werribee Zoo movie night type thing at twilight like they do down there. There's so many opportunities, and it's not just from a football standpoint.
No, not at all. Just give me a second. I'm still looking for it, so I'm going to stop sharing so I don't look like I'm poorly organized, because I am. But I actually did highlight the thing because it actually looked really good. Yeah, sorry, my apologies.
That's all right. I'll just blabber on for a little bit.
Yeah, go nuts, big fella, go nuts. I highlighted it because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And
all right, let's see how many people I can name from the crew. There's me and Wallace and Scott.
Oh, here we are.
Jay. There we go.
We're running out of people today. Jokes. Now, here we go. Sorry about that, everyone. So here we go. And apologies for the delay there. I thought I marked it. Yeah, I'm silly. As you can see here, it is a more open-ended stadium. And again, they also have a bit of a floor plan as well of what they're planning here, with an indoor arena adjacent, multi-level car park. But also what I find really interesting is the waterway of Long Davies Creek and a wetland, which is, I think, unique. I'm not familiar with anything that has that kind of dynamic to the arena, and the stadium facing out into it, which kind of like CCM. Yeah, and I think it's a really fun kind of concept there.
I think it's more of an identity type thing, because a lot of our area in Wyndham has been, and I know where I live for certain, and where you live as well, it's either been swampland or farmland. So to incorporate a little bit of that rural aspect, obviously coming from a personal point of view, and a lot of people out there would probably rather look at Central Coast as beach out the open end of the stadium rather than a swampland, but it's part of our identity, what we are down here and where we've kind of come from, and we still want to preserve the natural aspects of our area as well. So I think it's an amazing thing to link back in, not just with the natural aspects of our area, but because our area was a very strong Aboriginal base and had very, very strong Aboriginal communities back in the day, links back to that a little bit and gives them the credit that they deserve for why this country is what it is today as well. So from a number of standpoints, from cultural, from political, all the way to the football side, I think it's a really, really good idea. And I'm loving the look of it.
Here's another take on it. And speaking of Indigenous people, I think it'd be really cool if we could incorporate some art or whatnot into the 100%. Stadium area. I'd really like that. But also be really cool if some Bunjil or wedge-tailed eagles were in the area, because they're a really insane raptor bird. If you've been to the Hillsville Zoo, you know what I'm talking about. They'll battle.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
And they're very iconic and historical in the Aboriginal community, in the different Aboriginal communities as well. So look, a few statues in the wetlands, maybe, of these sorts of animals that do have this connection to the Aboriginal heritage and to our native land, to what the swamplands and the farmlands were before we've become this big metropolis that it looks like we're going to become.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it'd be a good talking point for the day. I thought everyone was going to be on today, so it would have been a bit more to get some crazy different ideas. But I'm a big fan, and I'm just interested to see it happen. The big scoreboard's going to be cool. Imagine if you could see the Foo Fighters there, or I'm excited for what big events could happen there, because we used to have a day on the green down at the Manor from memory, and that used to be pretty cool. But like stuff like that being in this kind of this kind of location would be really cool, I think. But
I think it's
we'll get
the
back
perfect
to
space for it.
same here. I'm just going to close that. But yeah, do you want to get into a bit more around the game review?
Yeah, 100%. Let's do it.
Actually, psyched myself. I forgot this and I didn't put it on the run sheet. Terrible. Public holidays and writing the freaking run sheet's not good. Actually did it yesterday. But listening to the post-game press conference with John Aloisi, Nicholas Milanovic has an injury. He's out for a couple of weeks due to a broken, I think it's a finger or something very minor.
Yeah, it's a minor injury, but
yeah,
yeah,
I just wanted to
what it is.
update just for injury. But yeah, now we'll get into the game review. Sorry, it's a loose episode tonight. Now, in a surprise. In a surprising turn of events, on Saturday the 12th of March, Western United hosted their eastern rivals from Casey Fields at Amy Park. Now, we all know the lead up to this game. Both teams have been jockeying for top spot for the last few weeks, and if this wasn't a last-minute change, this could have really been a bigger game, promoted heavily on TV, given a really good time slot. You know what I mean? Because it was late, announced later in the week, post-week, I think it was on Wednesday that this came out.
That, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we suffered from that, but we'll get onto attendance in a minute. But to help drive the attendance, which is what I'm talking about, West United ran a number of promotions, even extending free tickets to Melbourne City fans. And I think the two actives chanting and turning up in numbers really made this a really entertaining game of football. And the atmosphere was just amazing, especially for both teams, which have kind of lacked big crowds this season, which in reality, both have been comparable when you look at the numbers. Bar the fact that their victory game got 20,000 and ours got 10, kind of thing.
Well, it's a longer standing rivalry with them and Victory as well, and all the stick that us and City fans do give each other. I think it was a fantastic turnout by both sets of supporters, especially for a last-minute fixture change.
100%. Now, the official attendance was 8,127, which is our biggest one this season. It eclipsed our first game in Geelong against Victory by 7 people. And the last time we played City, there was only 4,720 in attendance. What are your thoughts on this increase, and what do you think the breakdown on the game day was?
Well, it's easy to kind of see where the increases come. Results kind of speak, and they bring a lot more people to the table. And I think it's happened with both us and Melbourne City fans that we're the two teams sitting at the top. We're the two teams that, at this stage, not to get ahead of myself on either teams, but it looks like they're going to be the two teams in the top two positions at the end of the season. So when you're winning, it breeds confidence, and it breeds confidence with the fans, and fans are more likely to get up off their butts and actually come to the stadium. But on a football point of view, on the pitch point of view, not just in the stands, fantastic game, I think. I think Western United edged the first half while City edged the second, and just the overall energy of the game. You could see the passion from both sets of players. They were going in hard for pretty much every ball, fighting for it. There were some really good goals on offer as well, some top finishes. So overall, as a Western fan, disappointing not to get the win, because we would have liked to jump ahead of them, especially that we still have a few games in hand as well. That could really have become a buffer. But look, we'll take the draw. Not sure if their fans will. I'm sure plenty of them will too. Overall, fantastic game of football, and that's the kind of advert that we need for the A-League to see it move forward in a positive direction.
Now, Connor Payne made his return to the starting 11 with Kilkenny out for personal reasons and Dia still out injured. How confident were you going into this game with this lineup?
Look, confidence wasn't on a high. I thought once I saw the lineup, I said I'd take a draw. Our midfield was changed up a little bit, even though Rennie Crin did really well coming in. It seemed like it was the game where we rotated a little bit, maybe even too much. Look, we got a positive result at the end of the day, I'd say, but the lineup didn't instill tons of confidence for me, but it didn't make me go at the same time, we're not winning with this. It was just a little bit of it made me question a little bit. Whereas if I saw our full strength lineup, because I don't think it was, I think I would have been saying that we would have been the favourites and won, but I was leaning towards more of a draw or even a narrow loss with the lineup that we had, especially compared to the lineup that they had. They had a very strong one.
Well, I'd argue that they fielded their best 11, whereas
Yes.
we I think we've been resting a number of players. And on that note, do you think this is the lineup we would have scheduled against Sydney, giving a few people a rest and giving them extra time to heal?
It makes sense. I think that's the way that the John Aloisi and Hayden Fox and the rest of our coaching staff prepared for it. The fact that Sydney have been, look, they've come a little bit better in the past couple of weeks, but they haven't been the Sydney that we've come to know over the past few seasons. So going up there, maybe even they looked at, if we can go up there, scrape a draw away, that's a good result for us, and then come back and play City with our strongest lineup. I can't tell you because I'm not on the inside and I don't know what's going on inside the coach's brains, but it seemed like there was a little bit of that preparation for Melbourne City, and then that kind of all got scrambled a little bit with the fixture changes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was definitely wasn't our full-fledged squad, but also on that note, I was pretty happy with the result, with the fact that Bayou's getting game time. He's getting some minutes into his legs. He's getting experience, and he's a dynamic, exciting player. Yes, he has these shortcomings, but he's learning. He's a young fella. Like me at that age,
I was very impressed. Very sorry to cut you off. Very, very impressed by him, and like not a slight on the kid because he still is a young kid. He's still learning his trade, but I looked at the lineup and saw him on the lineup, and I thought, against no other A-League team, would have been ecstatic to see him in there. But against City, I thought, okay, maybe against a team of this quality, has it come a little bit too soon for him?
He was a sub.
Prove me wrong.
He was a sub.
But, sorry, the original lineup I saw.
Sorry.
I think that changed.
Yeah, that was me. My apologies. I like keeping, because it's been kind of a conversation we've had over the last couple of weeks. Was Bayou's been a bit of an impact sub, and he started a couple of times due to squad rotation, and I thought he had a decent game considering. But yeah, now Leo Lacroix opened up scoring early from a Garuscio set piece with an effortless corner, and the crowd went ballistic, scoring his third in 2 games. What can't this pair do? And I know you were having a good time, sir, because I saw you going off inactive. What were your thoughts?
Well, sir, I saw you going off inactive. So I think everybody there was having a fantastic time. Look, disappointing to not get the 3 points after being 2 goals up. But as I've said prior about the squad and everything, I'll take it. But to watch us come out that dominant out of the blocks against Melbourne City, the reigning champions, I think 95% of people out there would agree that they've got the best and deepest squad in the league as well. So very impressed at how we took the game to them early, and there was no fear. There was no fear from us, and that's what we want to see. And that's the mentality you need to have if you want to be competing at the top of the league and winning silverware.
Completely agree. Now we'll go on to the next goal for us, which we were winning, and this was 30 minutes in, which is unprecedented for us to have 2 goals in 30 minutes this season. So I was pretty gobsmacking on the day. I think I lost a beer during this one, to be honest.
I think a lot of us did.
Yeah, I remember post game, I was just soaked in beer. It was gross. And wasteful, because they're like $11 for a 4 pint Pacific ale, which is one standard. It's just, don't get me started on the beers there.
We spent too much money.
Yeah, but shout out to the club for putting some cash on the bar for the pre-game. Big shout out there. I drank a lot of the Bolter Easy Hazies. They were delicious. A lot of people had some fun cocktails. Everyone was jumping.
There were passion fruits absolutely everywhere from all the porn star martinis, and they were fantastic. Yeah. So shout out Richmond, you've done well again.
Yeah, that was a great venue.
And shout out to the club.
If you want to have a bit of a look at that, we did release a game day vlog with some of the people. It was a great catch up. It was my first game since I'd had my daughter, kind of doing the pub crawl kind of deal. And yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of people turned out, which was amazing. But we'll get into this next goal. I just want to sidewind there. Sorry. In a brilliant play, Wales lobs the ball to DP, who's tearing it up on the right side. He shakes Jameson and crosses the ball to a waiting Renee Crin, who makes Sutton pay. Did you think Renee would be starting for us? That's my first question.
No, I didn't.
Scoring for us 4 rounds ago. If you had to said to me, he's going to score for us in one of our biggest games of the season and start.
Surprised about starting, not surprised about scoring, because you know the quality that he has and the reasons why we signed him. So I'm not surprised about the scoring, But I'm surprised that Kilkenny, was it Kilkenny that was out today on the weekend?
Kilkenny was out.
Yeah, it was Kilkenny. So it was him and Lustica. I would have just imagined that it would have been Kilkenny and Lustica starting. And if Rene Krim came on and scored, I wouldn't have been surprised by that. However, surprised by him scoring and starting. He showed his quality and why we signed him. And let's hope we get a lot more of it out of him in this second half of the season and in the finals campaign. Because at this point, it doesn't, touch wood, but it doesn't look like we will be missing out on finals.
I'm going to say something controversial here. Maybe him, Lustica, and Kilkenny as a midfield kind of combo, and maybe Diamante's kind of the sub in for a bit of impact, a bit of craziness. It could work. We are currently not playing some of our best or named players, and we're doing well consistently. It's like I think that'd be a possibility for us moving forward.
Look, 100%, especially because Diamante's coming in. Well, it is the last year of his contract, so we don't know what's going to happen with him this year, whether he'll retire or stay on or go into a coaching role or go back overseas. But anyone who knows me and knows the tactics I do like a 4-3-3, which is a strong midfield three. So that is definitely something we can explore in the future, I think, especially with our backline as well. We might be able to play that little bit more gung-ho in midfield and chuck our more less gritty, more talented players in there.
And that's something we could adapt to who we're playing for the play style. You know what I mean? Like, which would be interesting. Now, let's get on to a bit of the heartbreaking moments. Now, City managed to break through Western United's solid defence with Tilio feeding the ball to a lurking Metcalf with the ball being just out of Jamie Young's reach. Metcalf was unmarked with 4 defenders in front of him. Did you think there's a bit of ball watching here or just caught off guard?
Yeah, 100%. Completely opposite to what I'm going to say about the next goal in a few moments. But I think that was our poorest piece of defending for the season, honestly. I still think our defenders had a solid game, but I think that was just, the one moment where everyone switched off. And it was, especially at the stage in the game, had a 2-0 lead, was almost going into half-time, 2-0 up. I think it was a very crucial goal for City because I feel if they didn't score that one, the result would have panned out differently.
Definitely. Now, I think a big portion of that was the disparity in possession. They had 60%, and they're like just the amount of pressure they were putting on us. And they're a team that can push. They put a lot of pressure on the midfield, and I really felt we missed Kilkenny in that today. That experience and having Wales there. No offense to Wales, I think he did some great creative play, like getting the ball forward and had a good game. But I think with Kilkenny there, who is a bit more defensively minded, we would have not been as out open and had such pressure on us, or we would have, and I would have been a bit more confident. Now, City got a 65th minute equaliser via goal machine McLaren. Can't hate it. He's a beast. Like that's like it is what it is. He's a goal machine. You feed him the ball, goals go in. It's a simple thing.
I stood there and I just watched it, and because we were both behind the goals in the active, I just watched it go in, and the smallest space that he had to get past Jamie Young and still get it to clip the inside of that post and go in. I actually stood there and applauded, and I just kind of looked around and just said, well, he's quality finish. Nothing we can do about it. Let's cheer our boys on. Let's keep chanting.
Yeah, I love that mindset, and I think that's indicative of the service crew. To be honest,
I gave him a quick little 4 claps and then back to chanting because it was a quality strike. And at the end of the day, even though he plays for Melbourne City, he's probably our shining light up front for the Socceroos. So we do like seeing him do well. He is a Westie as well, so no hard feelings from the crew on J-Mac.
Finish your career at Western.
Yeah. We've told that to him before.
Yeah, we have. Now, we've already spoke a little bit about Bayou being subbed on, but he the same in the last 20 minutes. Skatardis and Wenzel Halls also were subbed in for Crin and Payne. Bayou came in for Wales. What are your thoughts on these subs?
I think that Dylan should have come on a little bit earlier. he gives us something different that Prijovic does. Not a knock on Prijovic at all. He's an amazing player, but they're two completely different strikers. And I feel like Dylan's pace at that point in the game would have really helped us. You did see him getting into some good positions and making some good runs. I feel like he needed a little bit more time. And I think if there's one thing that the fans are a little bit frustrated about this season, it is about him not getting as much game time as he probably wants and as the fans want, because he's adored by all the fans and we know the qualities that he does possess. The other substitutes, sorry, I'll just keep going, but the other substitutes, Jerry Skatatis, he's someone that you want at that point in the game. As I was talking about our more technically gifted players, and our more gritty players, he's the kind of player that you want to come on late and grind us out a result and get in there. And if he's playing for 20 minutes, it doesn't matter if he gets a yellow card in that time. He's coming on to do his job, and we all love him for that as well. And yeah, Bio, obviously, we spoke about him before. He's still a bit raw, still a bit young, but he's got huge potential.
What I wanted to talk about actually was just going back there. Great thoughts there. A lot of agreement there. Very pro Dylan Wenzel-Hall's. Got a photo with him after the game.
He's a good
fella. I was drunk. I was too ashamed to post that. I was done. Showed my wife. She's like,
posted as the oh no, we've already got one for the podcast photo today. So yeah. Next time.
But what I want to talk about is why are we doing two strikers up the front, or alternatively playing Wenzel-Hall as one of our forwards? Have him in
I feel like he's someone who can come off a wide position, whether it be right or left. He can either cut in from the left, or he can take, as we saw against City last time, the goal that he scored against them at Amy Park when we beat, maybe not last time, I think it was the first game. Just bang. It was pretty much the same goal as Jamie McLaren's on the weekend. It was that little shimmy, the defender steps off that little bit and you fire it, bang, right into the bottom corner. Nothing keeper can do about it. The problem is, I think our tactics are working at the moment and results are showing that, and the team harmony is showing that too. So I also am a big fan of, and a big preacher of, if something's not broken, don't fix it. Don't try and fix it.
I don't know. I just feel like him and Prijovic could then rotate and in play, you know what I mean? And be a little bit more. That's my thoughts there. And Prijovic is also.
I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely. I just feel that the way that the tactics are going at the moment, if Aloisi tries to be too clever and let's say he does change to a 4-4-2 next game and let's say it goes wrong, I don't think a lot of people will be too happy about that. And yeah, the phrase, if it wasn't broken, don't fix it, will come into play. I think we've got to keep going how we are at the moment. I'd just like to see DWH come on probably a little bit earlier, or even starting in one of those wider positions. And we have the players where we can cycle through. I forget which game it was. It may have been the game against Sydney FC where we just got unlucky to draw. But I remember at one point we did go to two at the front at the end, and we had the two at the front and the two wingers, but they weren't mobile. They were all cycling through and they were pressing. You see a lot of teams overseas press. One presses, the other one drops, fills their position, and then someone else becomes the focal point at the top, and then someone else presses, they can drop in and cover. I do like that. I feel like we should be playing more that way from the start of the game. However, tactics-wise, I think we should keep it how it is. And if the game isn't going in our favour and we need to change something up, I think that is something we need to do more and something we need to do earlier.
I completely agree. It's just, it's one of those things, we don't want to go full Rudan and be so into the minutiae of tactics that you lose games because you're trying to incite some kind some insanity. But you still, that's just something that I do. But
it's another option if things aren't going right, essentially. And we need to look at that different option. Maybe we need to make those changes a little bit earlier in games. The way we're starting games and the way we're setting up from the get-go, I can't fault it at the moment.
Now, the final score was a draw with both fans and neutrals alike enjoying this game. Do you think this will be a preview for the grand final?
I do. I really do, unless the only team as a Western fan and maybe as a City fan out there too, Adelaide look really, really hot. Apart from that, if Adelaide do fall off a little bit, I don't see it being anything other than maybe not the grand final, because anything can happen in finals, but I don't see it being anything other than Western City in the top two, whichever one finishes first or second. I can't see anything other than that.
Yeah. I'm just brought up the ladder. I think Victory are a bit of a wild card. They're 4 games behind City.
However, they do play City on Saturday, and that's a big one. If they win that, they're right back in the mix, but that puts us a bit ahead of City with 3 games in hand, essentially, or 2 games in hand and 3 points, depending on how how our game against Sydney goes. So if City beat them, which we're expecting to, it does kind of knock Victory off as well.
Yeah. I think the top 6 really isn't going to change much, with probably City dropping out and either probably Wellington.
Yeah.
Just judging by how many games. I think Perth are done.
The bottom
Brisbane's
5
not bad.
Bottom 5 look like they've all shown good points this season, but they've all shown how poor they can be. And I don't see anyone from 8th to 12th finishing in the finals at this point. It's going to be a toss-up between, let's say, Wellington and Sydney, I'd say, in the end. And look, we are speaking a little bit early. There's still plenty of games, different amounts for different teams. But we're a decent way into the season now, and it's shaping up pretty nicely. And we've seen the form of players. We've seen what the teams can do, not just the statistics and the positions on the table. And it does just seem like those five teams in the bottom 5 positions don't have what it takes.
No. On that note of halfway through the season, do you want to get into the Player of the Year review?
Yeah, let's do it.
Thing, Dearly. Now, this week we gave overall 13 points to Leo Lacroix, 5 to Jamie Young, 7 to Renee Krien, 5 to Tomoki Amai. Who do you think is currently winning?
Who was it the other week? It has to be Leo at this point now after the past 2 weeks, I'd say. It has to be.
Well, he's the last 2 weeks, he's taken home almost top points each week with almost 3 points from everyone. This week, he was 2 points shy of that. Last week, he was 1 point in front of Lustica. Now he is like 20. He's on 72 points. Lustica is on 58, coming second. Risdon's third, 57, and he's missed 2 games. So he's kind of, I think, not being playing is dropping him down.
Well, it was Rizzo earlier. So, yeah, I just thought over the past 2 games, Leo.
Yeah. It was Risdon, then it was Lustica. Lustica had a pretty long stretch there. Jamie Young coming 4th on 49 points. A lot of love there from everyone except Scott on the pod. Previc coming 5th on 45. The race isn't sewn. We've still got a number of rounds left, but yeah, it's quite interesting. Diamante is literally on 5 points.
And look, I'm not. It just kind of shows that. Look, you can't fault him. Sorry, dear, you're an old man now. You're not in the prime of your playing days like the other players are. So it does get to a point where you aren't going to outshine everybody. And look, as long as he still works hard and is an integral part of the team and shows his leadership on and off on the field when he plays and behind the scenes, probably more importantly, and just cultures the younger boys and improves their mentality, improves their skill. That's part of the reason why we signed him in the first place. I think he overachieved in the first season, if anything. So I think that's more of the reason why we signed him, and we're seeing more of that reason now compared to when he first came to the league and fireworks.
100%. I think one of his big selling, I'd love to see him in a coaching role, whether it be at us or starting his own business. I think Australian football needs him. In the media, he's amazing. He moves the needle. I would like him to stay at the club, even if it's like an Archie Thompson in his last season where he comes on for 10 minutes. And
100%.
I want him to be part of our club. We might move on from there for a second. And did you want to talk about... Whoa, I did multiple things at once.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, I did not intend to change the background as well. It's not what I pressed, but hey, let's go with it. If you're as passionate about West United as we are, you won't want to miss.
I thought I was going to do the promo. I thought I was going to do the promo.
No, you do it. You do the promo.
Let's do it. If you're as passionate about Western United as we are, you won't want to miss any of this season's A-League action. And the easiest, quickest, and best way to catch every game from every angle is with the A-League Live app. Search for A-League Live or Sports Map in the app or Google Play stores. Go United.
Woo! Links in the description as well. We use it for all of our shit talking, whether it be in our group chat or when we talk about stuff on the podcast. Highly recommend it. Good dudes, good product. I'll change it. Actually, I like that background. I might leave that there for the rest of the pod.
Yeah, keep it there. Might as well. First game.
Yeah, that is the first game. Do you remember? You were there for the. Did you help paint the banner?
We were there. Not help painting it, but I remember help putting it up for the first game.
Yeah, that was at like a warehouse in just off Flinders Street. It was a fun day.
One thing I'll say: how much better does the banner look there after 2.5 years of battering and use? And oh god, I think we might have to do another one soon, because looking at that now, that looks so good. Looking at the same banner now, yeah, we might have to do a new one.
Yeah, like that it is pretty haggard now. See,
it looks amazing. It looks amazing there.
It really does. But that's the thing. That was made. I think there was like 10 people. It's pre any of this shenanigans, but yeah, great times. Let's get on to the game preview. Now, I don't want to hark too long about this, because obviously we spoke about this on Monday before the game had been rescheduled. But taking into account the current team and result, how do you think we will fare at Estrada Jubilee Stadium against the 6th place Sydney FC?
Look, I think it would have been an easier game last week, honestly. Yeah. I think now that they've come off a win, we've come off that draw. We were on the 4-win spin before that. It felt like we had the momentum going. The momentum hasn't stopped, but I feel like it's more about them. I think they're a little bit more confident this week after coming off another win against a pretty good... it was Wellington Phoenix, was it? I hope I'm not getting it wrong. I think it was Wellington
believe
Phoenix.
So. They also defeated they won in the ACL as well.
Perth. I think they beat... Oh, no, was it Perth Glory? It was Perth Glory, I think. But anyway...
yeah, they've won their last 2 games. No, they lost to Wanderers, then they defeated Glory. They also won like 5-0 in the ACL.
Yeah, which was a big look. It's against was it a Thai or Balinese team? And
I want to say Thailand.
Those leagues, look, we know the Chinas and the Koreas and the Saudi teams and all of those. The leagues are probably less than us, but it's good to see them get the job done, because a lot of the A-League teams have still played those sorts of games over the past few years and stumbled on them. So when it comes down to Australian teams in the ACL, want to see our teams doing well. All the rivalries within the domestic league aside, we want to see the game evolve and become greater over here. But yeah, back to the Sydney result. I think we'll still get a positive result. I think it will still be a win, but I think it will be a little bit closer than I expected. I was going to go with a 2-0 if it was last week, but I think I'll go with a 1-0 this time around.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-1. I think we're going to come out the gate bashing. I would really like Kilkenny back in the lineup. Hopefully his personal issues, like whatever that was, not judging. Yeah. Hopefully he's back in. I think he's very crucial to the team, which I think we've said this many times. I wasn't expecting to say that this season. Yeah, I think he's probably a big in for me. Diamante, either way, I think we can handle not having Diamante. I'd like
to see him back coming off the bench, per se.
Yeah, get a couple of minutes in and then come back, because I think we'll probably have victory very soon.
I think it's the Wednesday straight after that. So yeah, we've got a 4-day turnaround, yeah.
So yeah,
we could see a bit more rotation this weekend as well. We could see the rotation continue and then potentially bring our strongest team for the victory game.
Definitely. Anything else you want to say for this game? Any final comments?
If we win, you can pretty much lock in top 2, I'd say, if we win.
No issue there. We might get on to the tipping comp. Now, how are you going in that? Good or?
Look, I've actually... Quick interjection with the tipping comp, but it's slightly related. The Dream League, the fantasy comp, the fixtures are too much for me, so I'm actually gunning to try and get the wooden spoon this season. I've been making the worst team possible. I can't wait. I think you beat me this round. So
really?
So I'll take that. However, the tipping comp, I've been doing all right. I think I'm up there, top 6 or so, around about that. I'm just a bit scared. A-Trax is coming back. is that?
Yeah,
Don't know whether
you're.
Yep, sorry. I think I cut out. So one of it's cut out then, and I wasn't sure who.
I believe it's me, but
Yeah.
I've currently got low signal. It's getting better. I don't know.
Nah,
I
well,
think it's
we're
my
nearly
PC.
at the end.
It is what it is. But yeah, so back to sharing the screen. Third time's a charm. Now, Methodical Flamethrower Woods 99 tied 44. Atrax is sneaking up in third at 43 points. Sherlock thinks he's going to get it, which is Nick, the
Unofficial
worst
member of
attending,
the podcast.
the worst attending member of the podcast. He does some of our socials on game day.
He is official. He is official.
Yeah, he's been on podcasts. You may have seen the photo I sent the group chat of him looking at the photo of him that time he attended the podcast.
Yeah.
Did you get that the other week? It was from the Chairman's Club in Ballarat.
Yeah, that was great.
I had a few that day. Now, Jeff FFS, he's on 38 points. I'm tied with him. You're one behind me on 7th. Harris Mania, he's creeping.
He's jumped up. Yeah, he was low early on in the season, so he's doing well.
The Joker Baby coming 14th. Scott's had a shocker.
Oh.
He's normally really good.
But he is winning the Dream League. He is smashing the Dream League, so we're kind of the opposite on that one.
Yeah. Look at this little batch here. It looks like a Slayer song, and then it looks like a Gent. Like it's either a Gent song or a Slayer song, and then it could be.
He started off well.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a hard season to keep up to date with everything. But make sure you get in. We've got a sick prize. It's going to be fun. Do you have anything for around the grounds? Anything you'd like to talk about world football or anything?
Well, football.
How's Liverpool going? How's Liverpool? I haven't heard about this today. What's happening with Liverpool?
Liverpool's doing well. We've got another pretty easy 2-0. First thing, we lost. We lost our first game in a while mid last week against Inter Milan. I'm sure if you saw that, but it was only a 1-0, so we still went through 2-1 on aggregate. So if we're going to lose one game, I'll take that. And then back it up with a nice, easy 2-0 win against Brighton Hove Albion on the weekend. But the thing I'm probably more excited for than Liverpool at the moment is how close Everton are to going down.
Oh, nice.
That is one thing I think a lot of other Liverpool fans want to see out there is want to see our sweet, bitter rivals that speak about how long they've been in the league compared to us. Let's see them go down and spend a year in the championship. Because I do think it will only be 1 year if they do go down, but let's see them spend a year. Shut them up for a little bit.
I just want to give a shout out to Arsenal getting the old win this morning, the old 2-0, yo.
Hey, well, as I said, I don't know if I mentioned it on this pod, but I've mentioned it to other people, and I think on a pre-Premier League pod at the start of the season. I tipped Arsenal from the get-go. I'm not surprised by this. I don't know why so many people are surprised by Arsenal doing so well. It's not even a lot of people look at it and they probably think it's more about the fact that the other teams are doing so poorly around them that they're doing well. If you actually look at the table, if they win their 2 games in hand, they're only 9 points behind Liverpool. Us. Let's say they beat us. Let's say they beat us on Thursday morning and then they win their other game in hand. They're only 9 points behind us. And I think that's for Arsenal's standard, like for their recent standards, that's an amazing season. So, unfortunately for the Arsenal fans, I don't think you're flying under the radar anymore, though. So you might have a little bit of heat on you.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up. I know Kelsey would want to talk about that, so I felt.
I'm sure he's very happy. Scott won't want to talk about Chelsea, so we won't talk about Chelsea.
Don't.
Not right now.
Yeah, but I'd like to give a shout out to the Leafs coming third in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
Toronto Maple Leafs. And I've got actually a little bit of news I want to talk about. Scott Hall, the wrestler, is on life support.
Oh, yeah. When did that happen?
Today.
I saw that something happened with Kevin Nash, but I didn't. Yeah.
He's like real emotional. Like my wrestling group chat's been like a bit sad because Yeah, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, like NWO, like it's sad. Like he's like Kevin Nash posted they're going to take him off life support, which
that's
to be honest,
crazy.
he had a pretty good.
Anyway,
He lasted a long time.
That's crazy. But sorry, one more grim thing about that sort of thing. And I know it's a bit older, but I only did see the news because it's something I have been following for years. That the footballer who had a botched operation back in the 70s or 80s or something, he was in a coma for 39 years. He did die at the end of last year. He finally died, but he spent all of it. John Pierre Adams, he spent most of his life in a coma. So a quick shout out to him, even though I'm about 6 months late on this one. It wasn't even a football injury, like a brain injury or anything. He went in and it was the anaesthetist screwed it up completely.
Can I give you a date when that happened?
He was in a coma for 39 years. Yeah, sure. It was 86.
No. No, he passed away on the 7th of September, 2021.
Yeah. So it was about 6 months ago.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. That's coma for 39 years. I'm just having a look about it now.
Yeah, his wife stayed by him the whole time. He was a decent footballer, played for the French. I think he ended up playing for the French national team or one of the Africa or Senegal, because he was Senegalese and then married a French woman in France, spent a lot of his career there. Just so sad. Like, he had young kids as well, and like they still have their dad at like 1% of his full capacity, I guess. But it's like 39 years in a coma, and that's the life he had, unfortunately. He was a big, fit, strong guy, and it was a botched operation. So
I'm just looking up it now.
I'm glad. I'm glad medical science has come a long way, because you don't hear of that happening as often now. But yeah, really sad. You just want to mention that because it's something I saw again the other day. Something I've checked up on every few years, every few months, and that. And yeah, he did pass away.
Shit. But that's jacked. Do you have anything else you want to talk about on today's pod?
I think that about covers it.
Me too, buddy. Now, this wraps up for the week. Don't forget to check us out on all social media for up-to-date West United content. Share, like, subscribe, and review. Don't forget to get in contact with you like what we're doing. Or if you don't, I don't care. But I like feedback because it's a bit fun. We haven't had any reviews in a while. Say something funny. I like jokes. Once again,
give us one star. Give us 1 star. We don't care. We'll laugh at it.
Yeah, we're from the West. Worse things have happened to us. Now, we got that game day vlog coming. Let us know if you like that. Just trying the waters. There hasn't been many of them happening in a couple of years, so we thought we'd give it a go. / I got a new phone the other day. I want to test out the camera. But yeah.
And sorry, Wallace. And if anybody has any suggestions how to improve it, we're happy to hear them.
Yeah, exactly. All West aren't we?
All West aren't we? And we support Ukraine.
100%.